So good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the WoT Pro League Season 2, Matchday 11 and 12. And to say the very least, we have some incredible games coming up today. We have the top two seeds as such now facing off against each other head-on. They've clashed before, they're going to clash again, but we have it today. It's going to be Team Dignitas up against Virtus.PRO. It's going to be incredible, but that's only the first game. We do have more coming up as well. But we've had some incredible games throughout this season so far, obviously, and I think it's worth a hell of a mention just how this is going down at the moment.
Indeed, indeed. Well, obviously, Virtus.PRO team will be seen today, sitting in first place as they were the whole of Season 1, so not really a big surprise there. Dignitas sitting in seeded 2 at the moment, same as Season 1 as well, so, you know, not such a good track record so far. I mean, they only lost a couple of games, 3 or 4 actually, in Season 1, and that was against Mousesports as well, and the other 2 were against Virtus.PRO, 3-2 back then as well, so it's going to be some real close games. And surprisingly, Evil Panda Squad sitting in third.
They're doing okay, to be fair. I think we got to see them last time, didn't we? And they showed us a good show. I think it was Kaznakru who kind of tumbled them off a little bit of a pedestal. But Kaznakru are the team who are really pulling out a hell of a lot of surprising results as well. So they're certainly a team to watch out for.
Indeed. I mean, 3-0 against the Evil Panda Squad. That was a result we didn't expect to see. But they seem to be struggling a little bit against the teams perhaps you thought they would be winning against. But against the teams they shouldn't be winning against. I mean, 3-1 against Team Dignitas. An incredible result, and they're doing so well. And I hope we can see them do as well offline events as they do in online events. I'm not sure why they don't perform.
It's one of those questions. But obviously there's a lot of that kind of questioning coming into the teams we have coming up today. Obviously, I'm sure you guys remember DreamHack. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, because we've got a lot to say about these two, we do have a special-ish guest. Now, you guys got pretty excited for Melly. We have someone far more attractive, far more beautiful, to take you through the social media aspects of this show and just to kind of let you know how you can get involved into this. You know, we're going to give our predictions afterwards. We're going to kind of think this through, check out the rankings on that WoTProLeague.com website and kind of work our minds out. But he's going to let you know exactly how you can get involved. So, hello, Mr. Miller.
Hello, everybody. Actually, someone told me today, roll out, but I rolled out of bed and didn't really get my hair going the way that I wanted it to today. But Melly is unfortunately not so well today. So, you know, I get the lovely task of taking her seat and, yeah, basically giving you guys a load of free stuff, which makes me a happy person as well. You know, kind of like Santa Claus, but in the middle of summer. Definitely got the belly for it as well, by the way. But basically, same drill as always. We'll be giving out free stuff. Both to existing players and to you guys that haven't actually played World of Tanks up until now. All you have to do is send us your questions in the Twitch TV chat, but also over on Facebook.com/WoT Pro League. We've not quite got a vote up today because somehow the voting system on Facebook is eluding us. So basically what you got to do, I posted a status update there just a few moments ago, and I want you guys to guess who's going to win the game and by what exact scoreline. So I'm even making it a little bit tougher for you today.
Exact scorelines as well. I think we're going to have to kind of put our votes out there as well. You know, I'm a bit of a Team Dignitas fan. What can I say? I like the way they're managed. They're a good team. They obviously showed what they're made of at DreamHack. So it's hard to deny them. But then again, Virtus.PRO, so prolific online. Sadly fell at the last hurdle at the DreamHack finals, you know, the kind of end to the first season of this. So it's going to be a real grudge match. But what's your predictions then? You're meant to be the guys. You've been okay so far in your predictions. You know, you've been doing all right. You've had on and off days. What's yours for this one?
Well, I'm really hoping for a 3-2 result. I mean, it's what we expect because that's what's happened in the past. I mean, if you look back to Star Ladder, even Season 4, that was in 2012, and that was a 3-2 result in the favour of Dignitas, in fact, and they had another draw 2-all back then as well. So really, I mean, surprisingly, Dignitas actually has a good track record against Virtus.PRO. Not so much in the online section of Season 1. I mean, they went 3-2 down back in Matchday 11 and also Matchday 22, but Matchday 22 was like a fun battle. I think they played like some TOG 2s or something. So, well, if that counts, I don't know. It's up to you to decide. TOGs are very, very superior tanks, and I think you could see
they had a bit of fun.
Yeah, they had a bit of fun. Maybe they won't do it here because this is serious business.
Very much so.
But yeah, I think 3-2. You're thinking probably towards Dignitas. I'm thinking towards Virtus.PRO.
Okay. All right, so we've given our predictions. Joe's already let you know how you can obviously give yours, but obviously let's have a little look at the two teams now head-to-head and go through the playlist so you can get an idea who you'll be watching on your screens coming up, and hopefully you can give us a little bit of insight as to it, because obviously you got to cast these guys time and time again, and obviously head-to-head as well. So why don't you take us through some of these guys, and who's going to be your real standout player for one of these teams?
Sure, well, we can't ignore Stalker UA, the team leader of Team Dignitas. Fantastic player, great leader, usually playing that T1 because he can really command from that vehicle. He doesn't have to concentrate on his play so much. Another newer player, Garat, he was actually in Team Rush back in the day, 2011, 2012. He was one of their players. Not new to the team, but we didn't see him in Season 1 at all, so it's be interesting to see how he really starts performing and how he melds with the team, I guess. Applewell, brilliant AMX 1390 player. Can't wait to see how he does here. Arclit, fantastic IS3 player. I mean, going back to DreamHack once again, he played that IS3 so well. I mean, he took like 4K damage, a potential of 4K damage on Ensk. Fantastic player. Virtus.PRO, I mean, look at that team lineup. Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, breakneck. I've always said he's probably one of the best players in the world, period. Delight, he didn't turn up at DreamHack for some reason, but, good light tank player. I mean, it's just every single player. Might as well go through the whole list. And obviously, Karitz will be their team leader. So it's going to be so close. These two teams are just so close in terms of player skill, in terms of strategy, in every respect.
It's going to be hard to call. Obviously, we've called it on both sides, but you guys, we've got to let you know. Obviously, you've got to let us know who you're going for, because it's so hard to call. On paper, they're even that close. In the league so far, obviously, Virtus.PRO still are the #1, position at the moment, closely followed by Team Dignitas. So you can't even look at that really and go, no, wait. But if you do want to check it out, go to that WoT Pro League page and just have a little look through and see what you make of it. But hopefully they're going to get underway on the tank picking soon. Obviously, we will be getting a nice couple of maps. Now, looking at the teams we have here, obviously Dignitas up against Virtus.PRO, what sort of map choices do you think are going to be coming out? Are one of these teams a lot stronger on, a city-style map, or do they kind of exceed in the open maps? What sort of map picks are we going to have here?
Well, I would have said in 8.5 that it would have probably been open maps, especially from Virtus.PRO. I mean, they love their Prokhorovkas, 14 wins to 0 losses. Wow. What a fantastic result that is. Pretty much unmatched throughout every season, ever. I think that's like probably the best scoreline we'll ever see. But now, without artillery, without Las Vegas playing artillery or Kusok before him, I think they're going to be more city map orientated. I mean, we can look at our lineups today. We're starting off on Ruinberg, going on to Steps, and then we move on to Abbey after that before going on to Prokhorovka, and last but not least, Himmelsdorf. So it's a good mix. We're not going to be sticky on city maps. We're not going to be sticky on open maps. We've got mines in there as well. It's going to be interesting.
It's going to really show you, how they're just developing overall. But obviously they are going to be picking their tanks right about now, so we're going to dive into that so you guys can see what they're going for here. And do you think we could get a kind of mirrored pick going on? Do you think they're going to go kind of very similar to each other and just battle it out skill for skill?
Yeah, I think they're going to be pretty similar. I mean, these two teams have been fighting each other for so long. They pretty much brought up under the same kind of situation, same kind of environment, I guess. So T1s, AMX 1390s are the picks for both teams at the start, followed by Kusok picking a T1 AMX 5100. I think the AMX 5100, although it's not, we don't see like 3 of them on this map, it's often the most important tank because it either gets completely blown away within the first second because it gets spotted in the middle of the field and it's just like, let's just destroy that box on wheels, on tracks. Straight away, or it does so much damage and it completely wins the game. So yeah, both teams picking 5100 and T1, so that makes it 2 T1s, 2 MX 1390s and 2 MX 5100s for both teams. I think we'll see a T69, at least one, probably only one, and at least one more MX 1390, and indeed Virtus.PRO picking a T69 and an MX 1390. So far, nothing unusual, just a lot of firepower and a lot of speed.
Yeah, so it's going to be whoever plays the best on the day between these two. It's not going to be coming down to, one certain tank might make all the odds. It's literally going to be player versus player, head-to-head kind of action. And I can't wait to see it. I love the way Virtus.PRO play. They're very clinical about the way they try and challenge on these maps, especially. And Dignitas have a little bit of character to the way they play, though. So they're similar in that aspect, but also quite different on certain strategies. But how do you think they're going to play on this? Is there any particular strategies they've used before that really worked for them, or was it all very just standardized, just depending on that player skill?
Well, this is one of our new maps this season. I mean, obviously it replaced Airfield, so we won't be having that map anymore. So, I think it's one of those maps that teams perhaps are not so fluid on, and they're not so experienced on. I mean, obviously it's been played in other tournaments, etc., etc. But, I don't think the teams have reached the meta like they have on, like Himmelsdorf or Prokhorovka, which have been around since day one. I think you pretty much summed it up. I mean, Dignitas have kind of like a European feel to their play a bit. They have a little bit of spice, and they throw the ball in. They just seem to have completely random play sometimes, but they have it tied well with clinical play, Virtus.PRO. So I think they have the kind of best of both worlds thing going on.
Yeah, and I've got to be looking at Virtus.PRO to see how they've already adapted, or if they do adapt. They faced off against Mousesports in the last play day, 9 and 10, and that was absolute decimation for Mousesports. But I want to see if they play something similar, or if that was purely reactive to Mousesports. I want to see how that one pans out. I'm going to be looking at them to try and see how they actually go into this map, if they're going to play it aggressive, if they're going to take the lead, or if they're going to be more playing reactive to Dignitas and start off slowly and then find the reactive causes. It's going to be interesting. I can't wait to see how this one pans out. I really can't, because on a map like this, you really do get to see some great action. It's probably one of my favorites I've actually seen being played so far. I've got to say I'm happy to see it in rotation. So I think they're almost done with the tank picking here.
Yeah, Virtus.PRO picking a T69 as their last pick, and Dignitas actually picking another 5100, so that'll make it 2 for them. Dignitas have the North spawn, the yellow spawn, I guess, on your screens, and the South spawn will be Virtus.PRO's to defend the green, the blue flag. I'm a little bit colorblind, I swear. But yeah, we're ready. This our first map will be Ruinberg, and I think we're going to see Virtus.PRO take this one.
Ooh, he's called it on that front. Virtus.PRO ready themselves. I'm just going to wait on Dignitas to ready themselves up, and we were even getting questions to them saying, guys, you ready? But clearly, they want to be in the right place. So we're getting mentally, focused for this one. These guys have been clashing all the way through the seasons, at events, so it's going to take them a little bit of time. I can imagine Stalkers, talking it through, going through how they've played it. They've seen these guys playing on this before. Maybe they're reviewing that as well, because obviously you don't want to go into this, completely unawares. This is such an important game. These are the first 2 seeds, basically, at the moment. And just for the presence of mind alone, they can go, we know we're better than them. Everyone puts that DreamHack win down to, the fatigue that may have played Virtus.PRO, but this could be the chance for them to kick off in the right direction to actually proving themselves as the better side here. But it's going to be hard. They're going to have to fight for every single inch of it, and I do believe Dignitas are actually ready. So here comes Ruinberg.
So it's Virtus.PRO versus Dignitas. Dignitas are starting north, Virtus.PRO are starting south. I've just got to mention the fact that Virtus.PRO is kind of a new team, well, a new lineup at least. They got a lot of new players. I mean, Kuritz is now their team leader. Just Cause wasn't in there. Rest in Peace, another one, all from the Russian team, New Star. Well, Dignitas has a little bit more mainstay team. They've got Geralt in there, who was under a different name on one of the Russian teams. I believe it was Red Grass, something like that. So, Dignitas in that respect are going to be the more, they're more comfortable with each other.
Yeah.
But, you were talking about how the teams could prove themselves. If Virtus.PRO win this one, then they prove that that team is capable of winning this second season at least. And that will be a big confidence booster for them.
Yeah, and looking how Virtus.PRO are starting this one off, they're almost following what Mousesports did initially by occupying the 8 and 9 line. We saw the early spot coming out from Just Cause there, and the AMX 3090 that you said can be so important in these games. He's still just peering forward, trying to catch another glimpse as such, and he's done exactly that. Letting the first shell off, it doesn't connect onto Stalker, but he's already working down where they are.
Yeah, and that was a good little engagement for Just Cause. But, you know, Virtus.PRO doesn't really realize that maybe the whole of Dignitas isn't in that village. But now Shanish has probably been spotted. They will have an idea that not all the firepower's in, and they might actually start to think about pushing into that village, trying to get a strategic advantage over Dignitas. Obviously, if they take down Dream, that will be a big advantage for them. But we see Applewell taking the first kill, Las Vegas going down straight away. Their artillery player will post 8.6 at least, artillery player. But Dignitas, they're playing quite offensive. They've gone quite far forwards. We can see Arclit right in the pretty much Virtus.PRO's base. I mean, Applewell just took a shot. He's down to 847, probably from a T69. And now I think Dignitas are kind of just, you know, they're kind of pestering Virtus.PRO a bit.
Well, it's working. Just Cause is having to fire the shells off onto Dream. He's got some nice connections so far. Not going to manage the third there on the chase, though. Yeah,
well, Melka just took a huge amount of damage going to 101 for no real response. I mean, Gerrat's still on 755, plenty for his tank. Dream's also taking a lot of damage, and we see an engagement straight away.
Yeah, indeed, and we do see that flag just about being captured, drawing the attention away. Dream has gone down, so finally getting a little bit of a reply back onto Dignitas. Virtus.PRO still need to get a lot of work done. Getting down at 1390 in that little village on the side is going to do wonders for them. But as you said, Melka is desperately damaged right now, and he can do very little in this moment.
Yeah, we did say about that village would be a key point if Virtus.PRO wanted to push it, that they knew Dignitas is in the city, and they did exactly that. They took Dream out. That's a big advantage for them, but Virtus.PRO took a lot of damage in the meantime. Breakneck's down to 800. Rest in peace, as 101. Pobble does a brilliant shot. Rest in peace is now in big trouble, down to 450, and he will go down to Shanish. Beautiful play from Dignitas. It is one tier 8 tank, well, 2 tier 8 tanks for Virtus.PRO, 1 tier 8 tank down for Dignitas.
Yeah, so the other T1 for Dignitas has fallen. That was Arclit being taken out by Karit. But as you said, that exchange in the town has been so to the favor of Team Dignitas right now. It's been unbelievable. So Karit's in that T1, still in the action. Breakneck is the only one really with some firepower left there in that T69. Gerrat is pushing towards him. I think he knows where he is. And here we go. So Shanish taking down a couple of the members here and there. It's a back and forth, but still, Virtus.PRO do not have the advantage. Breakneck laying down some great shell work onto Gerrat, takes him down to only 26 HP, but Applewell comes around the back. He does manage to get him down. That's Gerrat out of the picture, but finally, you see them coming back into this. There's no kill without a reply here from Dignitas. Every time, they're always getting the advantage some way, somehow.
Yeah, but Just Cause just playing very well. Sniped Applewell to 322 straight away, making him almost a one-shot for that AMX 1390. And Just Cause is going to come up from behind. He's only need 2 shots. He actually misses his first shot. No. Applewell gets away. So lucky from him. And now Just Cause, he's in a little bit of trouble because now Dignitas can really push onto him. They know where he is. They don't have to worry about him sniping. And they are going to put pressure onto him by capping with Stalker in these T1.
Yeah, forcing the hand of Just Cause right now. Virtus.PRO are massively on the back foot. 1v3. Shanish, Applewell, and Stalker still up and standing. Flag being capped. He doesn't have much of a choice here. I don't know what he can do to really get back into this one, and I don't think he does either.
No, but if there's anyone who can do it, it would be Just Cause in that AMX 1390. Fantastic, fantastic player. He has done some miracles in that tank before, so don't put it past him. He just has to do it right. He has to take out Shanish straight away. Shanish actually missing his first shot, so the first mistake from Dignitas there. And Just Cause is sitting on 100% HP, 1,100. So he's just got to play it correctly. He's got to take down Shanish or Applewell, and then he's got to move on to the next tank. But Just Cause took a shot. Applewell's going to do... they're going to try and pincer them, I think, as Just Cause has come around to Applewell.
Yeah, but Just Cause bringing the fire to Dignitas and making his way straight through towards them. Does manage to take down Applewell. Now, Shanish to find, as you said, the important kill here, but the tracks were damaged, so it's allowed Shanish to come around the back. He's never connected the shell, so it's all into that T69's hands to get these down. If you're on that Dignitas side, he's got one and the second there, so nothing he could have done in that situation. Sadly, he got tracked just as he tried to, you know, work his way around that house, but it's the way it goes sometimes.
Indeed, and I'm just not sure why Just Cause actually engaged in that situation. He didn't have the 6, I think he might have had the 6 shells, but he missed the first one, so him down to 5, and obviously even with those 6 shells, you can only do 1,440 damage. So he would have had to do the high damage rolls, he would have had to penetrate and hit every single one to take both tanks out, so it was a big gamble, and it just didn't pay off. I mean, unfortunately, because that was a very, very close game.
that was an incredibly quick game as well.
Yeah.
We did get treated to our first couple of draws in the last match day, but I don't think we're going to be seeing much of that right now. Obviously, Dignitas with a point to prove, I think, is what we can take away from this. Virtus.PRO seemed to go in, in their normal kind of style, being not necessarily passive, but they played very normally. It was like, they played the normal strats. They didn't do anything, out there. They didn't, pull out a wild card. But Dignitas, as you noted very early on, went extremely aggressive. They pushed all the way through the town, got a nice bit of kind of presence within there, and then just dominated it. And every time someone managed to fall in the team, instantly there was the revenge kill straight away. No kill was unanswered, and it just paid out for them perfectly.
Exactly, and I think it was kind of Dignitas' strategy from the beginning to say, okay, probably we'll lose Dream in the AMX 1390. He'll probably go down because obviously Virtus.PRO clocks onto the fact that he was alone with Stalker in the village. But they were like, okay, that's fine. That's built into our strategy. We can just move on to them if they do that, and that's what they did. They came up from behind. They singled out the AMX 5100. They took it down, and straight away, it got them back in the game. They did more damage. They took another tier 8 tank out. And it was just a kind of a short-sighted decision from Virtus.PRO. I think that's what really lost it for them.
Yeah, indeed. And I'm very surprised in going into something lightly. They're a team that are so drilled in. They're so dedicated. You watch them at any event, serious faces 100% of the time. They're not the team to be out there. They literally drill every single strat down. But that time it didn't pay off. So obviously that map just wasn't for them, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what necessarily went wrong, but I think we can just take from it. Dignitas were clearly on point today. They've got themselves ready for this game is what I'm looking at. Maybe they watch back the couple of games. Obviously, they did have the chance to watch them last match day if they did have a chance to tune in to catch, Virtus.PRO obviously playing that map against Mouse Sports. So maybe they worked out how they kind of like to adapt in certain situations and could have used it against them. So, various things could have come out there. But looking at the next map, how do you think this one's going to pan out? It's a very different kind of composition as such here. It's not the same style of map. And we got treated to a good couple of draws. Kaz and the crew, really drawing that one up against the Evil Panda Squad, the third seed, obviously behind these two teams. Now, who do you think this map suits more? It's going to be Steps, so it's...
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of a polar opposite to Ruinberg in a lot of respects. It's an interesting one. I think it kind of does suit Virtus.PRO in a lot of respects that they have quite good single-player light tank players. So I think they have very good AMX 1390 players. But the whole way Dignitas just play together as a team, it's definitely a big advantage on an open map like Steps. So I think at the end of the day, if Dignitas can just use that to their advantage, it is their map to win. But if Virtus.PRO can use their real player skill, their genuine player skill, and they can catch Dignitas, one of their players or two of their players off guard, and they get into a kind of one-on-one situation where player skill means a whole lot, then obviously it could... I'm kind of on the fence in this one because I think it could go Virtus.PRO's way in that respect.
Yeah, it could go either way, obviously. It's so hard to call between these two. No matter what way you look at it, these guys are extremely talented at what they do, but I think they're just about getting ready to get the tank picking underway. So take us through what do you think we're going to see here. Once again, the very standardized picks, do you reckon? It's going to be almost mirrored, or do you think they might go for something a little bit different here and there?
Well, I think we might see one of your favourite tanks, the WZ132, if we're lucky. Perhaps not. I think, as we can see on our tank picking straight away, the AMX 1390 is going to be the dominant tank here, being picked 2 by each team. Dignitas also picking 2 T1s, also Virtus.PRO replying with 2 T1s at the moment. So 4 AMX 1390s, 4 T1s. And I think that's pretty much what's going to continue. I mean, we'll see a T69 in there probably, maybe even a MX 5100. I mean, we have been seeing on Abbey quite a lot, but it's kind of a little bit too big and open, and you have to drive a little bit too much on Steps for that to be 100% as viable as an AMX 1390. Dignitas is picking T69 and the T1. Virtus.PRO really going for the heavy AMX 1390 lineup, picking another 2.
Wow. So
that's going to be a kind of Hunt Underdogs-esque lineup where they just pick 5 AMX 1390s. See if that works or not. Dignitas picking an AMX 1390 as their last pick, and we can just see now if Virtus.PRO is going to pick the T69 or another AMX 1390, and indeed they do pick another AMX 1390. So a pretty much full MX 1390 lineup for them. which is, we haven't seen them do that before.
No, this is a little bit different coming out. Maybe, obviously, well, maybe Virtus.PRO noted that Hunt's underdogs took one of the closest games, bar Kaz and the crew actually beating Dignitas, and thought, Joe, we'll take a little bit of that style. So obviously the picks are done and dusted, and I think it's almost time to get underway. But what do you think we can see from these tanks? Do you think we're going to see quite quick, aggressive play? I don't think it's going to be one of those passive games that we saw before between Kaz and the crew and Evil Panda Squad, but do you agree? Do you think it's going to be quite quick-paced or slow and kind of cautious?
Yeah, I think we'll probably see a quicker game. I mean, it's not really why they probably picked the MX-3090. It's more of a situational thing why they picked that tank. You know, if they want to get themselves into a situation where they're, you know, attacking and they're focusing down tanks, or there's, you know, we sort of saw the engagement around that eastern flank, then that's where that tank really comes into its own. That's probably why they picked it. But, you know, it's not so different from Dignitas' lineup. They picked 4 MX-3090s and a T69. So it's going to be, you know, if the T69 can use its superior reload, obviously having 25 seconds to the MX-3090's 40 to its advantage. If it can, and it can start pumping out the shells, then the T69 is better. But in terms of speed and like versatility and agility and all those things, then the 3090 just wins hands down, and that's what it's going to be about. So it's map 2 of the Battle of the Titans, the finalists of last season. Virtus.PRO just lost to Dignitas on Ruinberg, and now it's really Virtus.PRO's game to take. We think they're the better team on this map, player skill-wise, and in terms of strategy, we've seen them take some very big risks, but also risks that have like paid off for them. You know, they haven't really lost the game on this map yet, and they've been very, very strong on open maps altogether. Dignitas a little bit more unreadable, a bit more less readable. You know, we can't really say what they'll do. They are an unpredictable team as a whole, and I think it's just going to be about that, you know, skill versus synergy, I guess.
Well, the spots are coming out from Dignitas, and I can imagine Virtus.PRO as well. So Dream, Garrett, and Shanish already spotted. Virtus.PRO using the Deflator that hill to make the way even closer, going towards that rock. It's just a little bit of cover. Early shells being placed down. No connections yet, though. And this looks like it's going to be a nice little battle going down soon. Yeah,
Virtus.PRO just deciding to get straight in there with the 3090s. We don't usually see teams go for the eastern flank from the southern spawn. They usually go towards the more mountainous area around this place, and it's usually the better thing because, you know, you have more terrain, you have a little bit more cover, and you can kind of retreat back to your base a little bit easier. Strange tactic with Virtus.PRO, I guess they have an idea of what they want to do with the MX-3090s, but, you know, we just saw an exchange. Breakneck took a shot, Applewell took a shot, so even in terms of HP at the moment.
Yeah. And you can see the shells are connecting onto Virtus.PRO. That's Garat just adapting nicely around the side there, working with the Deflate that could have been actually used against Dignitas. The exchange in between Shanish and Applewell with Breakneck and Rest in Peace is pretty much the same, but actually Virtus.PRO are coming off a little bit worse here between Povel and Garat. Finally, a shell does connect from Imelka there.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Virtus.PRO decided to go, well, so static, I guess. I mean, they should, with those fast tanks, they should try and collapse onto Dignitas. They should get in a situation where they're surrounding and managing to do the damage from the side and the behind. Well, Dignitas do have the T69, which is better at these kind of standoff situations where it can really pump out the damage. You know, and I think Virtus.PRO is a little bit on the back foot. You know, they just took quite a few shells. I think now they're probably about 600 to 700 HP behind Dignitas. And, you know, Dignitas are a team that really pounces on HP advantages.
And Rest in Peace and Breakneck are both damaged. So Rest in Peace on 861 and Breakneck 649. So both, you know, in that exchange early on, they got a couple of shells getting down there, but it didn't really make that much odds for them, and they're still pretty much pinned in. So depending on the others to help them out if the action does come. Just spotting Shanish again. Darting in and out, that T1 of Karitz there, just keeping eyes across. But have we seen any outstanding plays? I'm sure on the mini-map I've actually spotted a T1 breaking off for you guys there. And is that just, you know, to keep eyes on it, to see if they go all the way back around, or How do you think he's playing that one out?
Yeah, I think whatever play Dignitas has got in the head, they want to be using the T1 to add the extra pressure in the cap.
Yep.
Obviously, they know perhaps Koritz or Las Vegas is probably sitting somewhere in the base ready to defend against that move. But, you know, if Stalker can manage to kill that tank and manage to do the damage, then suddenly there'll be twice as much pressure, you know, from the damage and from the cap.
Yeah, and once again, shell exchange in middle. Breakneck gets one down. Applewell the same, but still, Virtus.PRO are not in the best position HP-wise. So if, you know, Dignitas do decide to mount the attack, they're not going to be in the best position here as Virtus.PRO aren't just, you know, looking too good HP-wise. And once again, the shells are coming out. They need to start landing every single one. They've got a nice, you know, chance here in the section with Rest in Peace and Breakneck to, you know, work it around that little bit of a middle rock there and try and do some joint damage. But I don't see this working in Virtus.PRO's favor right now, personally. I don't know why, but it feels that they're, you know, at the disadvantage. They're on the back foot.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the positioning. Maybe they can pull it out of the bag, but I don't know.
They're trying to claw their way back into the game. Shanish just took a couple of shells. He's knocked down to 676 in the T69. So Virtus.PRO obviously not going to let anything slide. They're going to try and take this one. Koritz being spotted straight away. Nobody to take care of him from Dignitas. Applewell's going to reload. Dream's going to take his first shot of the game down to 873 from Just Cause, the brilliant AMX 1390 player we saw kind of fail a little bit against Dignitas and Ruinberg. He's probably wanting to get himself back into the good books of his team.
Yeah, and the T1 exchange is going down as well. You can see Arca getting damaged up and knocked down to 13 and taken out by Las Vegas there. He's only left on 10, but it's an advantage of a slight amount to Virtus.PRO, but it's not a great deal considering the amount of overall damage they're still receiving.
Yeah, and they've still got Stalker there in the background, and Stalker will take down Las Vegas sitting quite low HP. He'll take down Koritz probably as well with that auto-loading dirt gun, we kind of call it, in the T1. Very, very deadly in the right hands, and obviously Stalker being the right hands, if anyone is. He's going to go back to his bush. We just saw some blind shots as well. Nothing connecting. He did play it very well, and he does have eyes over the whole of Virtus.PRO's cap at the moment.
Yeah, and what do you think it's going to take to break this little standoff we got going on? Will it be one player just, you know, having enough, or will that almost be the go point, do you reckon? Koritz was only a T1, so it's only all even now, but what's it going to take to break this one? Yeah,
I think T1 is definitely one of the things that could. I mean, Koritz just played a bit stupid then. He knew that there must have been a spot somewhere because obviously they have Sixth Sense, which makes the light bulb come up. So he shouldn't have pushed around. He should have gone behind the bushes, gone behind the rocks. So kind of a wasted shell there. Maybe he was concentrating too much on team leading. We just saw Rest in Peace receive another shell. Amelka trying to reply with one, but not landing anything at the moment. Breakneck taking another big shell. He is now a one-shot sitting on 193. I don't know why he keeps on going out and he's kind of like an ego playing at the moment. He's like, oh, you keep on hitting me, I want to hit you back.
Yep. I think he was always surprised by Pobble, and obviously losing that T1 that was advanced up beside them before, kept a little bit of vision. He had no idea where he was. He'd focused the others. So, you know, well, actually, Virtus.PRO is slowly being worked down now. They've already lost both of their T1s, which is looking to Dignitas' favor, but Dignitas is still not making their move yet. Yeah, but now Kusox is out of position. He will take down Stalker, but, you know, now Dignitas can make their move. They know Cusack in the MX 1390 is not going to be able to back up his team, and now we see Dignitas push. Yes, they will. Shanish is going to go first. Applewell's going to be in the background. Povel's also going to back him up. He's on full HP. And now we see Breakneck's going to go down as well, but Shanish is there. Yeah, Rest in Peace laying down the fire as well. The shells do connect. Shanish goes down. And now Rest in Peace is in a bit of a pickle to say this. He's surrounded by Dignitas. He gets one off to Povel. Quickly goes down, though. So it's not going all the way right now for Virtus.PRO. They lost the first one, and this is not looking good for them. Yeah, Just Cause on 3. He will actually have 124 HP left. That's a one-shot easily. One shot. Yeah, there we go. Garat actually picks that kill up. Nice little shot from him. Amelka still on HP. Cusack is going to try and help his team out. He does get in position finally, taking down Applewell. Probably Dignitas' his best AMX 1390 player, so that's going to be a big, big blow for them. And Cusack, he's got to be careful here because it will be 2 shots. Dream missing his shot. And he's got to retreat. He's on 1 shot. Amelka right now, he's pushed all the way around the flank there. Does find one, but his teammate does go down. So 1v2 now. He's got the weight of the world on his shoulders to try and keep his team in a good position here. Povel now makes way on the right. Amelka trying to back off. He does receive 1 shell, but not too much damage. But oh, he's being pounded from the left, right, and center at the moment. And I just don't see him making out of this alive. No, he's probably reloading, in fact, in that MX 1390. 40 seconds reload.
is a deadly, deadly amount of time, and that's what we were talking about at the beginning. If the T69 could be used perfectly, that reload could be used perfectly, then it would work for Dignitas, and it did indeed. They used it well. They let the reload work in their favor, and boom, we have a win for Team Dignitas. 2-0 up. We didn't expect that.
Well,
you know,
I called it. He didn't.
It's kind of strange. I've called 2 things so far, and I've got 1 right. And I got everything right for the last 3 weeks.
He's not very good at this, is what I'm learning. But anyway, Dignitas clearly are. They're showing some real class at the moment. You know, even though little kind of dancing back and forth situations, they always seem to get the advantage there. We saw, you know, quite a standoff almost happening for a fair amount of time during that, and yet they always seem to hold the upper hand. They, took down the T1s. They, limited the vision of Virtus.PRO, and then they made their move. And obviously, spotting that one player out of place in the 1690, I believe it was enough for them to just go, it's time to go now. And that takes so much ability there. Yeah,
I'm not sure why Virtus.PRO moved out of position because they obviously knew Dignitas would pounce on that. I think it was a kind of a stupid decision because Steps isn't one of those maps where capping is such a big problem. It's not like at Abbey or something where you can kind of hide. You're capping or doing it in the middle of a big field.
You're going to see it.
Exactly. So, all they had to do to stop that cap is kind of just drive up onto the ledge and kill the T1. Obviously, the AMX 3090 has plenty of view range to do that. Yeah. I think they kind of threw that one like they did Ruinberg.
I don't know what is going on in the Virtus.PRO camp today. These guys are the very first, throughout the season. I don't think they've actually lost yet, have they?
No, they haven't lost.
They've retained a clean slate. They've had some close run-ins, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, 3-2 to Kazna.
And Kazna crew, for some reason, are the legend killers at the moment.
Yeah, they are.
Remember J-Dong, we've now got Kazna crew.
Yeah.
But these guys, they're looking very good to ruin that lovely clean slate. And if there's a turning point, it's got to be now for Virtus.PRO. If they want to somehow retain that rather prestigious title of barely ever losing a game in an official match, then it's got to be right now. And obviously they've got so much to do this for. Virtus.PRO, they lost at DreamHack Finals to this team. Yeah. And in a situation that people go, oh, maybe that's a little bit unfair, or maybe they're fatigued. This could be their moment to go, do you know what, guys? We're back. It doesn't even matter about that final. We're here. We're winning this season. We haven't lost a game. But they're not, and it's really surprising to see for me. These guys could be they are the defending champions almost, throughout the season so far. They're just not turning up. But anyway, we are going to be going into tank picking here already. These guys are not messing around. Clearly, they want to get things going and get the picking underway. But looking at Abbey as a map, who do you think this one's going to suit more? You've called it wrong so far. I don't know why I ask you. I might as well ask Joe Miller. At least he's a pretty face. But, it's...
Wow. Pretty face with that net beard.
Don't you insult the beard.
I can see his evil eyes on me.
He's making mistakes.
Right.
I'm so glad we muted Joe's mic then. You should have heard what he's coming out with. It's disgraceful. But anyway, obviously, Abbey here. Tank picks are underway. Who's this one going to suit?
I want to say Team Dignitas because it's kind of that thing where I've been wrong twice, so I might as well just pick the other team.
Hedge your bets. That is... Yeah. Oh, no.
Well, Virtus.PRO did lose against Dignitas in the first map, in fact, of the DreamHack finals. So, but that was after like 3 draws, and all the games were really close. So, I think Virtus.PRO is going to win this one. I mean, they went 2-0 down against Kazna crew, and then they won 3-2. So, if any team can do that again, it will be Virtus.PRO.
Call it. You're dancing around the point right now. I want a definite call.
Okay, I'm going to say Virtus.PRO wins. I'm going to say it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, risky.
I mean, for you, even if Team Dignitas was like last place, sitting in 12th, you'd be like, yeah.
I like an underdog.
But they're going to win against Virtus.PRO, no problem.
Don't judge me, all right? Look, I like Kazna crew. I like these guys who can pull off these ridiculous results against the big guys. And right now, I don't think I can, compare it to this situation because obviously Dignitas are a team of obscene amounts of worth anyway. They're up there with themselves, but seeing them doing this to Virtus.PRO, making them look like they're barely even a collective, it's impressive. Come on.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with supporting the underdog.
Yeah.
But why don't you take us through the tank picks they've made so far?
Well, as standard, 2 MX-39 has been picked at the start, 2 T1s also to supplement them. Obviously, we got the T69 being picked next by Virtus.PRO. And by Team Dignitas. But Team Dignitas opting for the AMX 5100. They are going to be spawning south. Teams like that tank from the south. He is a very, very powerful tank. I mean, capable of doing ridiculous amount of damage, almost 2k with those 6-shell autoloader. Virtus.PRO, interestingly, also picking the AMX 5100. That's a bit more unusual from the north. And both teams picking a T69. The last going to the last picks, T1, the AMX1390 being picked by Team Dignitas. Probably Applewild's going to be playing that one. We've seen how brilliantly he's been playing today. Last pick by Virtus.PRO, 1390. And we're just waiting for Dignitas to pick their last one. I think it's going to be also a 1390.
So quite similar picks throughout here, really. They're not going for any curveballs. They're just playing it standard. And I don't think either side really needs to, bring out those curveball picks that, kind of throw off the opposition and try and work in something new. Because clearly, Virtus.PRO are doing it right so far. They've obviously not lost a game. But Dignitas, they don't need to change anything up right now as well because they're just outclassing Virtus.PRO on every front. Now, Abbey itself, it's a fantastic map. I do remember seeing Appleweld playing this one, and I loved watching him play this. He plays it so well. It's literally to a T the way he plays this one. And he's an extremely good player on every other map, don't get me wrong. But this one just really highlighted what he's so good at sometimes. And it was just fantastic play. So I'm looking at him bringing out something interesting again. And I think we're still waiting on the last pick. There we go. And you said 1390, and it was. So, at least you're right in this front so far. Yeah,
surprisingly, I mean, been wrong everywhere, so I might as well be right on the predictable stuff. Pretty much a mirrored lineup all round, actually. Yep. I think we had one difference. Obviously, the T69 was being picked by Dignitas as opposed to the MX 1390 for Virtus.PRO on steps. So, they haven't been mirrored lineups thus far. But pretty close. I mean, 8.6, all the lineups going to be close. We don't have artillery, so we don't have scouts, so those are two cancelled out, obviously. So, the differences are always going to be in the medium tanks and light tanks, I guess, in the respect of the MX 1390 is a light tank, but it is kind of a medium tank at the same time, and also heavy tanks. So this will be Abbey, our third map. So welcome back, Team Dignitas 2-0 up against Virtus.PRO. We're in Abbey, and this is going to be our third and possibly final map. And I think Virtus.PRO has to win this one. They have to take it back. It is best of 5, obviously. You have to win 3 games out of 5 to get the advantage, to get the win. And, Virtus.PRO have to get some momentum here. If they win this one, then it will give them a good chance of the win. The next one, which will be Prokhorovka, and then Himmelsdorf is a map they can almost win guaranteed because they're just such a fantastic team when they're playing heavy tanks.
Well, yeah, it's all on to Virtus.PRO now, and if they can't deal with the pressure, then they're going to be in trouble. It's as simple as that. They're a team that should be able to by now, and on the majestic Abbey, hopefully this is going to be their proving grounds to do it. Now, they've got an interesting start here, actually, Virtus.PRO, all making their way up that 2 and, well, just the 2 line right now, just being... Well, this is very different to what I'm used to. I'm used to seeing, Hyber straight in the center there, on his T69, playing that, pivotal role. Not seen it so far, but they actually have got a glimpse of Dignitas very early on, and this breakneck leading the way around. So this could be an interesting exchange going down.
Yeah, both teams not going for any of the sneaky tactics we see quite often. They think they just want the whole firepower, the whole front engagement. Melka takes the first shot. Oh, he gets hit for the first shot, taking him down to about 1.1 km in his T69. Breakneck also trying to avoid another shot. He did indeed do that. Still sitting on full health. Shanish not connecting the shells so well at the moment, but it's such a hard shot. He's, there's like a pixel to hit.
If anyone can do it, these guys can. They are the best of the best, and I expect them to be landing these. It is hard, but if the 2 teams can do it and they can break a situation like this, it will be Virtus.PRO or Dignitas. Now, obviously, early on exchanges going down in favor to Dignitas so far. They have managed to damage up one of the Virtus.PRO guys. That was Melka, as you mentioned, knocking him down to only 1144. So not a massive amount of damage dealt, but even the small amounts can make all the odds towards that later part of the game once the situations develop. So we're just going to have to wait and see who's going to make that real big first move. We've seen Virtus.PRO making a couple of shells, couple coming back, but there's no massive moves at the moment. So gonna have to wait and see.
Indeed, Breakneck getting spotted again by Shanish in his T69. Rest in Peace just took a big shot down to 1137, probably from an AMX 1390, and we're in a proper, kind of old west firefight at the moment. It's kind of
oh, the Western shootout,
guns at dawn, exactly. Just between tanks this time, so it's slightly more exciting.
It's nothing. I quite liked it with just pistols, but fine, we do have tanks. It's a little bit overkill for that, you know what I mean? But as you said, every shot from Dignitas so far has connected quite nicely. If it hasn't ricocheted or anything else, it's connected. So rest in peace down, and Melka down. Applewell has been spotted again, probably from Breakneck there. Let's see what sort of vision he has. Not a great deal. Could have actually been Just Cause if I switch over. Yeah, I think it was just straight down that valley again. And spotting out Shanish, a couple of shells going back and forth. Still no connection. I spoke too soon. Finally, a shell lands for Virtus.PRO, taking down Shanish off that completely perfect amount of HP to 1117. So finally a little bit of damage dealt, but I just feel as though it's not enough. And I don't think Virtus.PRO do either, as they're backing away. Yeah, and Kusok seems to be the out-of-position man of today. He will take down Stalker. Good play from him. I mean, Stalker should have run away a little bit quicker. So suddenly, Virtus.PRO have the momentum now. They've taken down the T1, so they'll be able to move up that flank unhindered, unspotted, and we can see Dignitas reacting quite, clinically. They're repositioning Applewell into the middle. Probably going to play the Abbey game, and they've got the backup from Shanish, Povel, and Gerat towards the mountainside. Applewell will be there just to deal with Kusok. They don't want him to perhaps put some pressure in the cap or from behind if Virtus.PRO do decide to push and go for the frontal engagement. But Applewell, he's the man for the job. He's going to be able to take down Kusok if it comes into a one-on-one situation. Yeah, and saying that, actually, Kusok's backing off now. He's joining the rest of the team. He was split towards that 5 line there, trying to keep eyes on the Abbey, but he's just left the T1 to make their way through, and, well, that's not gone very well. Dream has already spotted one of them, and, well, that's Stalker out of the game. But we do see Stalker falling a lot of the times very early on as well, just because, he's the one spotting for them. But Karitz has gone down as well. So an exchange of, tier 1s. It's not a massive deal, but it's losing vision throughout. Yeah, and we can see Virtus.PRO straight away reacting to that spot. Just Cause, Breakneck, Hamelka are all there. 3 tanks against 3. Garat's actually retreating. Povel's going to be able to land a shot onto Hamelka, but he's straight away put into trouble because he's kind of stuck on a little bit of a hill. He can't reverse. He's going to get taken down very quickly. Povel's on 106. It's going to be a huge blow if he goes down, and he will. Shalish is trying to get out of there desperately, but he's on 120 as well. Brilliant move from Virtus.PRO, and now suddenly Dignitas are on the back foot. Yeah, finally Virtus.PRO have a little bit of luck here. Kusok pushes up straight away, fighting Shanish as well, making the most of the damage that's been dealt already. And now Applewell is in a world of trouble, backing their hell up. Dream has to get in there, as Virtus.PRO have just rolled straight through and taken 2 with them. Fantastic bit of turning of events. Yeah, I don't know what Povel was doing there. He got himself into a really newbie situation. He kind of went forwards and he got himself behind some sort of obstacle and he couldn't reverse because he didn't have the momentum. But now we're seeing another engagement. Virtus.PRO don't have the HP advantage here, but it's 4 against 2. Dream's going to go low. Wow. Applewell's going to be the next in line. 187, another shot will do it. 2 versus 4, no chance at all. Virtus.PRO. Look at the scoreline, 1-33. That's not something we see that often. No, definitely not. Finally, Virtus.PRO seem to be awake. Kusok is finally getting a bit of shells back towards him. It's Gerat laying them down, but Breakneck now just picking up the mantle, pushing forward, back and forth we go. But I can just see Gerat being taken down quite comfortably here now, as the rest of the side do just emerge and submerge him. And wow, what a game we're seeing. This is a completely different side of Virtus.PRO. A team who looked barely present in the last 2 maps have finally gone, sure guys, let's play this game. Ollie actually called it this way. Let's finally, make him right, and let's prove this guy that he knows what he's talking about, because Virtus.PRO look fantastic right now. Yeah, that was a very, very good play from them. Thank you for proving me right for once. At least it's not going to be one of those days where I get absolutely everything wrong, which was like, what, the first 2 weeks or something? I think it was. Yeah, probably. But you can see the scorelines, 1-41. Obviously, the tier points for 7 versus 7 Wild Tanks Esports is 42. So, pretty much a complete walkover in that respect. And, Virtus.PRO is not on a lot of HP, but it's kind of all spread around. They're all kind of semi-okay. That they have handled that perfectly. And this is the Virtus.PRO that I knew, that I remembered, that I thought would be challenging Dignitas from the start. And I don't know if it's this map that's done it, or, obviously one of their players took the side and said, guys, we need to, turn this one around now. When the pressure comes down, Virtus.PRO turn up, and that is exactly what they're doing. The cap in that point at the moment, the T1 Arclet is the only one left standing for Dignitas, who's got no hope in hell at the moment. So, really, Virtus.PRO finally deserve, a little bit of a pat on the back for actually turning this one around, because it was literally at the last second almost, Yeah. They had almost lost this game. This could have been their clean slate thrown away in a matter of moments. They were all quick case games. Dignitas looked so dominant, and there we we have it. So Virtus.PRO finally get themselves back into this one. That top-seeded team who've shown so much class throughout have emerged. The team deserve to be there. You guys have seen exactly one brilliant bit of play coming out.
Yeah, really, really well done by them. And, you know, I think they Dignitas missed his trick in some respect, you know. Stalker was there in the trench. He spotted Kusok out of position, and Dignitas just stayed there. You could see Stalker just pinging out and saying it probably is to his team, you know, guys, don't move. We want to defend this situation. Kind of caught in the headlights a bit. And when Virtus.PRO spotted Dream out of position, I think it was actually Apple out of position as MX1390, then Virtus.PRO pushed and they won the engagement, which is what Dignitas should have done 2 minutes before. You know, I think they missed a trick, and I think that's probably why they lost the game.
Well, I hate to say it, I'm almost glad they have. I feel mean saying it, but I like seeing these games really get slightly
Odie's going to get on you for that.
Yeah, Daddy Odie will actually kill me now. But anyway, Team Dignitas still looking very good, but obviously they got completely caught off guard there.
Yeah.
You know, you can't let it get to you. It doesn't matter if, you know, 2 maps up or 1 map up or whatever it is, you still got to stay focused because you need all 3. End of the day. It's as simple as that, and a team like Virtus.PRO will not allow you room to breathe. You know, they may slip up on a couple, they may make their mistakes, but they'll certainly take advantage of one made in such clear fashion to them. They'll happily take that one. So I think we do have the next map already lined up there. Not yet ready for the tank picks. Not yet. They're just going to have a little quick, you know, refresh as such. Because I think they need to. You know, they've played a fair, you know, few high-octane games already. But looking at the map, you know, obviously it's Prokhorovka. Who's this one going to suit then? Whose playstyle's going to come out? Because you were correct on the last one, so your opinion's back. You know, it was.
Maybe
I can't
like
even
5%.
display it. It was below the table, but you know, it's back up. You know, to an acceptable level.
Well, I think.
Who's it going to suit?
Well, just going on statistics, I guess we can say Virtus.PRO has this one because, you know, we've been talking about like 14-0 in Season 1. That's just, you know, it's incredible. It's unbelievable. But then again, when it came down to the chase at DreamHack, Dragonborns completely thrashed them on Prokhorovka.
Wow.
So they're not unbeatable on this map, but they're just very, very good. You know, and I think perhaps slightly less good now because Las Vegas can't do quite as much as he did used to on this map. So I would say it's going to go 2-2.
Wow, okay, so we could be really in for a treat if this one does go all the way through. And I kind of want it to, because I do love seeing these teams being pushed to their limits. And obviously Dignitas will finally have to, if they don't wake up in this one, obviously if it does go 2-2, they've got to snap back into it somehow. You know, it's as simple as that. These guys are going to be battling it out for every single step, or, you know, obviously tank track they make.
Brilliant.
It doesn't even really work, does it?
Brilliant.
I don't like casting with him anymore. I want Steven back. But anyway, I think they are just about to get underway in the tank picking. So let's have a look what they've picked so far. And do you think we're going to see anything really different here? Or is it going to be quite a standardized way to go about Prokhorovka? Or yeah.
I think pretty much the same as we just saw. Well, we saw on Steps the game before last.
Yeah.
Maybe a WZ132, but you know these teams aren't ones that pick that tank that much. But, you know, MX1390, TT1s being the first picks as it was on the previous map, Abbey. But we can go back to DreamHack a little bit because this was the kind of the defining map for the finals. We saw the first one being a draw, a very, very close draw, and then Dignitas completely thrashed Virtus.PRO. They did a very interesting move, actually. They put all their tanks along this line, and they just waited for Virtus.PRO, and Virtus.PRO kind of just like idly walked into them, and they just got blown away. And you know, it was, we've been talking about it a little bit, you know, like fatigue and stuff, and that's where you could see like a complete lapse of concentration for them. I don't think they're going to ever make that mistake again. If they do, then you know, if you make a mistake once, then you know. Yeah. You're the fool, and if you make it twice, I'm the fool, or whatever the saying is. I'm not sure what it is.
You're really good at saying. You're as good as me. He's doing well tonight. But
I'm sure someone knows the saying. Do let Joe know on chat if I got it in any way correct.
That was so wrong. It's even just unbearable to ask.
I'm the fool. Full stop. Right.
Stick to the tank picking.
Tank picking continues. MX1390s, T69 being picked from both teams, 1 apiece. Obviously, those are the tanks which you're going to see over and over again.
Yep.
You know, it's the WZ132 that we might see. I think there's probably like a 20% chance. I think that we'll probably see it from Team Dignitas. They are the less rigid in their tank picks. T69, T1 being the last pick from Dignitas, just waiting on Virtus.PRO's pick now. I think it's going to be a 3090 because at the moment both teams are quite T69 heavy. Oh no, it isn't. It's it's going to be another T69 T1, so mirroring Dignitas at the moment.
And you're doing so well on the tank picks.
Yeah, that's not good. That's my first one wrong. AMX 3090 being the last pick for Dignitas. That will take them to 3 AMX 3090s, double T69, double T1, pretty standard. And Virtus.PRO are going to pick the double AMX 3090, triple T69, so the slower tank, but the more versatile in terms of firepower, because you do have the faster reload. It can pump out damage slightly quicker than the AMX 3090, and it's got a better hull down. It's more hull down orientated. But, it's not as fast, and it's kind of strange because you would have thought they would pick the same kind of lineup they did on Steps, where they took 5 AMX 1390s, but here they've gone exactly the opposite and picked 3 T69s. It's kind of strange.
Well, hopefully they're as versatile as they are prolific in their results at the moment, because obviously it's a little bit of a curveball, but obviously tank picks are done. And you've said it before, this map is one of the defining ones, sealed, it was the nail in the coffin as such for the Virtus.PRO side. So clearly, if there's going to be a point made, it's going to be on this map. And I'd be very surprised if Dignitas do the same thing they did, but I highly doubt that'll happen. But it'd be very interesting to see how these two face off on this. They've played each other before on this map. They know exactly what they're up against. And it's going to be very, very curious just to see if they even dare bring out a strat they've done before. I doubt they'd ever recycle one, especially of a team, like Virtus.PRO doing it to Dignitas or vice versa, because they just learn so quickly and they adapt so well. Yeah,
well, I think they all have their starting positions, the place they go to at the first 30 seconds to maybe 2-minute mark, and then obviously they play on based on the spots and the damage they've done, etc., etc. But it's going to be one of those maps where, teams don't have, like a set tactic. It's so open. It's like, I always call it the canvas. Teams can draw whatever tactic, whatever lineup they want on it, and really come up with some really like inspirational kind of, pushes and defensive movements. It's always a good match to watch.
Well, you're hoping for a lot for inspiration, but I'm going to have to see if they can pull it out of the bag. And, OK, I'm going to ask you a question then. Which player's going to be the standout player for you in this one? We saw some brilliant play coming out in the last one, some fairly individual play, but then obviously the collective of Virtus.PRO just arrived. But do you reckon there's going to be an individual player who's going to stand out for you here?
I think Breakneck's going to be the best player in this one.
OK, so money on Breakneck. I'm just going to let them know we're ready. We are just going to be waiting on the Dignitas side to let us know they are ready to get underway. Obviously, this game does mean a hell of a lot to them. We are into the later days now of the Season 2. We're in 11 and 12, and Dignitas just needing 1 minute to talk things through to make sure they're in the right place, because obviously in the last map they got completely caught off guard. They got caught with their pants down, basically, and they felt the wrath of Virtus.PRO as such, and they can't do it again. They can't allow it to happen. If they want to make this a statement, this is the map they want to do it on, especially. If they want to prove anyone wrong, this is where it needs to be done. They need to be able to handle Virtus.PRO on an even playing field and bring it through that way. That's hopefully what they're going to do here. But we are going to be going into Prokhorovka now.
So welcome back. This is Prokhorovka, our 4th map. Dignitas still in the lead, 2-1, taking Steps and Ruinberg. But Virtus.PRO showing that they still have the muscle to compete with the Dignitas guys, winning on Abbey quite spectacularly. I mean, 42 points to 1 point. Very good play for them, and pouncing on the mistake made by one player. We don't expect anything from the top team at the moment, sitting in first place, 9 wins to 0 losses. But at the moment, it's quite similar to DreamHack. I mean, Dignitas went 2-0 up, Virtus.PRO won, and if they can continue this momentum, then we can see a 2-2 here. I think it's just all on Virtus.PRO at this moment.
Yeah, Just Cause flying through, trying to get a little bit of a glimpse of the Dignitas side. He does manage to find Applewell and Garat and get out of there not receiving a shell, which I'm quite surprised by. Very gutsy play trying to spot those out early on in that 1390, allowing the rest of the side now to maneuver around, get themselves around that F7, 8 line, just to kind of position themselves in that village, hunker down now and wait for the push if they want to receive it. Virtus.PRO not playing too aggressively here. They're kind of meeting halfway. Yeah,
Dignitas are opting for the more passive kind of defensive lineup. I mean, triple AMX 1390. Breakneck does take the first shot. taking down to 1106. Shanish just reversing straight away because they'll both be spotted. Karitz being blown away by Dream and the AMX 1390. So now that'll be a T1 disadvantage to Virtus.PRO. And they actually push quite far forwards at the moment.
Yeah, indeed. And Amelka is really landing those shells right now to Dream, forcing him to retract back. Apple and Garrett have to find a reply and a way in here to start laying down some damage towards Virtus.PRO as well. They're doing just that. Shanish is the one receiving them.
Yeah, Shanish taken down to 871 straight away, but he is hulled down. Kusok just taking a couple of shells from the MX 1390s. Low damage rolls, unfortunately, for Dignitas. Stalker's going to try and go up the hill in that T1. Sneaky, sneaky Stalker. I mean, it is in his name, so what do you expect? Pavel probably has the reload now, so it'll be up to him. Shanish is probably reloading. Kusok taking another shell, 409. So pretty much 2 shot left for him.
Yeah, not in the best position HP-wise, bar Melka really, who's still retaining that full HP, just challenging Shanish there over those track lines. Be careful of Pavel though as well, who's just dancing around with him, those 2 T69s going for it. So, you do see Las Vegas taking down Stalker, the leader for Team Dignitas is now down and out, but he can, obviously lead from the back as such. He can kind of rally them up, see exactly what they're doing, and that's just as dangerous. Stalker is just as dangerous alive as he is dead in that T1. He can still lead them even when he's out of the game. So, early exchange taking both of the T1s down for both sides. Las Vegas still alive and Arklet still alive. But looking at the HP of Virtus.PRO, they look pretty damaged here. Yeah,
it's not a particularly good situation for them. But, Dignitas also not doing so well. I mean, look at Applewell, probably his AMX 1390, sitting on like 423 HP at the moment. So he's pretty much in 2-shot area. I mean, 1-shot AMX 1390, 240 average damage. Yep. 2 of them obviously will take him down. Amelka being spotted. Shanish missing his shell and his second one. Amelka playing very well on that T69 as he often does, managing to avoid both shells. But both teams have lost their team captain here, so both of them have that advantage of being able to utilize their team captain's brain power just to play 100% for their team, to think 100% for their team even. Dream pushing forwards now, probably trying to spot out Amelka here.
Yeah, and actually, Virtus.PRO are backing off, and Melka being one of them, leaving Breakneck pushed up. And as you said, Dream is making his way forward. Breakneck is the only one really in that position still. I don't think he can particularly challenge from here, as the rest of his team do just flood all the way back down that 7-9. A shell does manage to connect. Breakneck now on only 597. So really, Virtus.PRO are just being picked away at time and time again.
Yeah, Breakneck is got to be very careful, because if Dignitas do collapse on him, he'll be taken down immediately. But Dignitas are left in this kind of odd situation where if they push, they will be able to take down Breakneck, but then they could get unlucky and take a lot of shells from the side, or they could get lucky and not take a lot of shells. Obviously, post 8.6, it's more likely that the latter will become, will become the reality. Garrett missing every single shell. He's probably only got a pixel of that tank of Breakneck showing. He's going to have to reverse and try again. And
I've got to point out right now, Amelka is making his way around the other side of the line where Dream has been dancing with Breakneck. This could be the breaking point of this little stalemate situation. Ooh. He's keeping eyes on it. Oh, he's just landed that shell. 2-1-3 now on Dream. Amelka pushing further forward, edging closer in that T69. Another one doesn't connect, though.
Yeah, but Virtus.PRO are now in trouble. Look at Kusok's health. So low, and now we see Dignitas collapse onto Virtus.PRO.
Yeah, and now Breakneck surrounded. He does get taken out there as well. It's going back and forth. I can't call it either way at the moment.
Yeah, but look at the HP of Dignitas. 2 AMX 1390s left on full health. Applewell's going to try and go down. He's going to try and take down Kusok, and then they can really collapse on Shanish, landing a brilliant shell onto Respies. And I think Virtus.PRO are just going to struggle, and they're going to lose this one.
Yeah, it's slipping through their fingers as we speak. Only that T69, that AMX 1390, and the T1 left standing just causes only on 70 HP. Trying to use Amelka as some sort of shield right now, but he's going to be taken out surely. 12 HP, somehow still standing, and somehow took down Garat. Teammates falling, though. It's Applewell to find Amelka, who was so pivotal in that and just couldn't pull it through. So look at this situation right now. It looks so dire for Virtus.PRO.
Yeah, Virtus.PRO's bad decision-making really coming through there. I'm not sure why they would push on so heavily onto, who was it? I think it was Dream, actually. Yep. And, it just didn't work. They couldn't get the position, and they let Dignitas have the higher ground, and it just really showed. I mean, Dignitas could just sit there, they could make the shots, and they could do the damage. And, I mean, 3-1 to Dignitas.
I was almost right.
Almost.
I almost put too much faith in Virtus.PRO, but clearly we have someone who's just kind of dethroned the rather prestigious Virtus.PRO, who've kept a clean slate up to this point, and once again losing to Dignitas, the guys who somehow managed to pull it through a DreamHack and just ending the first season off in perfect fashion. And we're seeing almost a very early on repeat here. We're only on match day 11 and 12, and we're already seeing repeats of what was almost the finals for the first season, so you can only imagine how this is going to go. And that was a real grudge match there.
It was. I mean, what's really interesting about this is how Virtus.PRO are going to continue throughout the season, because with so many new players, you know, what their morale be like in the team. You know, when you have these new players, then it can get a little bit shaky if you start losing games. Then it's just slippery slope from there. You can just tank it all the way to the bottom, and they could start losing every match, or just, you know, even if they lose a couple more matches, they can see themselves slipping to those, you know, middle table area. You know, Dignitas, I think they're on their way up. They're better. That's what the thing about Dignitas. We thought they were, you know, reaching the pinnacle, but they continue.
It's going up. Yeah. Fantastic coming out. Stuff just coming out so far. That was the first game. We still have another game coming up today, so it's nowhere near over. But what a fantastic way to start this one off. Dignitas just proving that DreamHack was certainly not a fluke. Now, I was almost right. He was completely wrong. But I kind of want to know how close you guys were to the marker here, because I think that was a result that none of us would have initially expected, even if, you know, I do like an underdog there. So I want to bring back our delightful, beautiful, you know, social media guru, Joe Stunning Miller. Hello.
Thank you very much. Stunning. Really?
And
it's not technically a neck beard, because I shave it above the Adam's apple.
Whatever.
So in your face, Ollie. So actually, not many of you are very good at guessing today. I think it's because I put the exact score in there, really kind of broke everyone. So I think there were literally only 3 guys that guessed it, so you guys are going to be lucky. Posting 9 seconds ago doesn't actually count, although they're kind of 1 minute, 10 minutes in the past, aren't they? So lucky you. You'll be. I guess that makes it 4 people now. So maybe I'll just give 4 out. Maybe I'll just be real hard ass and just only give 3 out and have to draw 1 of you out of a hat. No, of course not. I won't do that. So yeah, 3 or 4 of you got that one right. We're going to do exactly the same for game number 2, of course, which is going to be Dragonborns versus more WoT. And yeah, it's going to be a tough one. I think possibly just as hard to guess as this game.
Yeah, we're seeing the polars here. We're seeing the very top of the table, and we're seeing the 2 teams who've been battling out, and we're seeing almost the very bottom of the table. But once again, it's almost just as important to them, not just pride alone. It's the fact that they could go out through this. If, you know, if they don't start picking it up, if they don't start building the points up again, it could be all over for them. So it's a matter of survival for the other 2 teams. Is going to be hard. But yeah, how can they, have there been any questions, or has it all been rather quiet on the Western Front?
Everyone's really boring tonight. I don't know what's going on, to be honest. There's not many questions coming through.
Because Melly's not here.
It's because Melly's not here. Everyone wants to talk to Melly, who's actually in the chat, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, Melly, you know.
Melly.
You can't call in sick to work and then be in the Twitch chat, Melly. That's against the rules. But yeah, we did get a couple of questions. Most of them weren't all that so interesting. One that I kind of like here from Matt Lish. Sorry for butchering names, never been my strong point. What is your biggest piece of advice to a brand new player in World of Tanks? Because that's quite an interesting and open question, in my opinion.
Wow, that's really warrants like a 2-page essay, I guess. Is it more centered towards tournaments and esports in general, or is it just
a new player?
A new player. I would say pretty much play in platoon. You know, get yourself a couple of mates. Start playing, you know, as a team, and then you find yourself improving a lot as a player, because you can, you know, get feedback of each other. And I also would say, in terms of more, you know, what tank to play and stuff, go up the American tree, go up the T71, T69, T541E, whatever. Too many numbers and letters, never been my strong point. Going on to the T57. Yeah, so those are the 2 big pieces of advice, I guess. And also hit your shots. Don't drive out into the middle of the field.
Don't miss.
Yeah. I mean, well, you know, tell Steven that. He always drives out into the middle of the field and gets himself killed. So another big piece of advice, don't do that.
See, I'd say watch some VODs back as well.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Watching the likes of Hyber in this T69, as soon as I got back on, I'm like, I'm going to try everything he's done. I was really bad at it, but watching the VODs actually really does help. So if you do have like your favourite tank, I'd say give that one a watch if you know you're already starting up. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Even the T1s, you get to learn all the spots. And as soon as I started watching them, it all started to make sense. So definitely want to kind of make sure you get a little glimpse of. Any other remotely interesting questions?
There was another question here from, I forgot his name as well, but it said, Pansy, did you ever get team killed in World of Warplanes?
Wow.
I made the horrible mistake of playing with the Wargaming crew. You know, basically, I was like, oh, they're going to be good at this game. This is their, you know, their new game. They've got to be playing all the time. So I was like, no worries. It was me, Bump, and I think Burbo. Yeah.
Could have possibly maybe been him that asked the question.
Scumbag. Absolute
Puts you on the spot.
scumbag Burbo. No, I was having a really good game, and I was kind of like proud of myself. I was playing really well. I was like, yeah, I'm making myself look good at this stuff, and I'm normally only average. And basically, I think... Shut up, Joe Miller. Joe, just call me Miller. Yeah, basically they decided to, instead of letting me actually fly, not only did they told the entire server to target me, they also decided to ram into me in the most unpleasant way possible. So, yeah, that was very upsetting. I got like 5 kills, and then they were like, no, boom.
5 team kills. Wow. Boom. Just going to put that one out there.
Let's not let you make jokes anymore.
Okay, fine. We'll be quiet. I'll be quiet with jokes.
But from the question front, it's actually pretty much nothing more than that one. So keep your questions coming in. I will also be giving away some more codes just generally into you people in the chat. Just going to copy-paste them all in there, and you can fight over who gets them first. So I like to see you squirm, I guess, or something like that. So yeah, we'll do that. And don't forget, on Facebook, there'll be a vote up in just a few minutes for, or not really a vote, because as I said, Facebook's trolling us today. Don't know what's going on with that. Maybe it's because Melly's not here. Facebook decided to change all their stuff. Dragonborns versus more WOTD. That's going to be coming up after this, and I'll make sure that that one's up there. You've got to guess not just the winner, but the correct score line today, just to make it a bit harder.
Joe is a hard taskmaster. He asks for a lot, doesn't he? Normally, but he's like, just kind of guess it right. Somewhere along the lines. No, he wants exact, precise results. But as he said, we do have some great games coming up after the break. We're going to go quickly cool ourselves down. We've just seen, you know, obviously the top of the table falling to the guys who dethroned them last time as well. So obviously we need to calm down a little bit and get ourselves ready for, well, Dragonborns against more WoT.de. So it's going to be a great game, guys. Do stay tuned. We'll be back in 5. Hopefully see you then.